Coming to you from a studio somewhere out there. It's Enough Already Radio with Fingers Malloy and Tracy L. Connors.
Oh, what do you know? It's another Enough Already. I'm Fingers Malloy. Tracy L. Connors is here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Tracy.
Hello, hello.
How's Tracy Connors?
I'm fine, just fine. How about you?
Fatter than ever.
Oh.
I'm very excited. I know I don't want to take up too much of your time and the folks' time talking about my issues because we have lots to get to today. But I bought an Instapot and I bought another exercise program, and I'm very excited to use both of them 3 days and then never use them again.
What, pray tell, is an Instapot?
It's actually an Instant Pot, but people shorten it to Instapot.
Is Jeff Sessions going to be knocking on your door?
That's the dream. No, it's part crock pot, part pressure cooker. I think you could make yogurt in it. Meth, I believe you can make meth in it. Porridge, a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, you could take a frozen roast, 10-pound roast, we'll say. We'll throw it in the pressure cooker with some chickpeas and cauliflower. 3 minutes, you got a meal for 15 people. That's how great this thing is.
Did Ron Popeil tell you this?
That's what the infomercial told me. I didn't catch the cat's name.
Oh, okay. The ghost of Billy Mays came and visited you?
Yes. But I saw a video from Good Morning America, with Robin Roberts and Michael Strahan. By the way, Michael Strahan did this segment, and I don't think he pronounced Instant Pot right once.
What did he say instead?
At one point, I think he called it a flat tire.
Oh.
Which doesn't make any sense. But no, this woman, they made a big deal about it, and she's a blogger. She lost 85 pounds using the Instant Pot in 3 weeks. Maybe a little longer, give or take. Maybe in a year.
How did the Instapot lead to her weight loss?
It helped her kick her habit of eating processed food.
Oh, okay.
So she was throwing fresh vegetables and meats in this Instant Pot, using it every day, and she dropped like 80 pounds. So today is my first day off of. It's all baby steps. No soda and no fast food.
Wow. And you've made it how long?
This is day one.
Okay.
But I am drinking a beer.
Oh. It's going swimmingly.
Yes. Well, so there's that.
Is it a Michelob Ultralight?
No, it is. It's a fancy local beer. It's a coffee porter from a local brewery. Yeah, a local brewery here in Indianapolis.
You who make fun of any flavored whiskey are going to drink something called a coffee porter?
I like porters and I like stouts.
Okay.
And beers, they come in many different flavors and have for years.
Yes, for about 13 years, I think, is the last time I had a beer. It was 2005 when they only came in light and regular.
Yes, you could get Stroh's and Stroh's Light. That was it. But
Correct.
Now they're all over the place. You got the porter, the stouts, the IPAs.
I don't even know what that means.
I believe it's an Indian Pale Ale.
Oh, is that racist?
Depending on who you talk to.
Oh.
But our friend Sarah Smith, I was talking to her the other day, and I said I wanted to open up a brewery and call it the Happy Prairie Valley Brewery.
Okay.
So you could get like an HPV stout.
Oh, nice.
Or an HPV porter. And we both laughed and laughed and laughed. Because sexually transmitted diseases are funny.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my story. How are you? What's going on with you? Everybody wants to know. They're like, where, because I do my little show once a week for Wham that you used to do. And, we did it for Wham. We did this show. enough already for Wham, but then you had to step away. So we do this show once every 6 weeks or whatever. And people ask me all the time.
Our schedules allow, yeah.
Right. What's Tracy up to? How is Tracy? People stop me on the street and say, "What's Tracy doing?" So how's Tracy? What have you been up to?
Well, I've been working a normal people job in the wonderful world of manufacturing.
We still do that in America.
Yeah, we do. So now both you and I know that whole world pretty intimately.
And it's funny, I had a discussion with someone yesterday who is in right-wing media. And the subject of tariffs came up. And, everyone is freaking out about these steel and aluminum tariffs that Trump has thrown out there. Massive freak out. And I'm sure I won't speak for you, but obviously to people in manufacturing in the Midwest, I looked at that and thought, okay, it's clearly a play to the base in places like Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Saying, okay, I told you guys that I wasn't going to forget you. You're the forgotten voter. And we're going to do what we can to push back against some of the dirty tricks that China has been getting away with. Now, whether this is going to work or not, who the hell knows? But clearly that's the play, don't you think?
I think so. I still think it's a stupid idea, but I look at it as more of a negotiating tactic. This is a threat to see who will come to the table. And I think he's already pulled back on imposing the tariffs on Canada and Mexico.
Right.
Who, if memory serves, of the articles I read this week, they pointed out that those are our two biggest, importers. Our imports come from Mexico and Canada. So if you take it off the table for them, it stands to reason you'll take it off the table for everybody else.
Well, and I had read a piece last week, kind of alluding to the fact that China could just route their steel through Mexico, have some dummy company.
Oh, sure.
There are ways around this stuff. So a lot of this is just political theater.
It's all political theater. People need to calm down about it.
No, it's the work. This is going to grind the economy to a halt, Tracy. That's what I'm reading.
It's a decent argument if it actually goes through. I mean, a lot of people lay the blame on the Great Depression on the Smoot-Hawley tariff.
Well, my thing with this whole thing is you want to make the argument that it's a bad move. Let's have that argument. And I'm not saying this is a good move, but what I keep hearing is that the government, by doing this, is picking winners and losers.
That's what the government does.
Yes. By inaction, the government is picking a winner and a loser. So,
but they do it with action as well. Let's be honest here.
So the idea that the government is picking winners and losers by implementing these tariffs, they're picking winners and losers by not implementing tariffs as well. Because you're saying, okay, we're going to side with the consumer over manufacturers or people that China, intellectual theft. I read a piece where some say it costs American manufacturers and other sectors of the economy $600 billion a year.
Yeah. You're not going to stop the Chinese from stealing intellectual property, though. So good luck. I mean, one of my customers, they make a product that the Chinese could copy easily. So they have to go over there 2-3 times a year to go check up on what the heck the Chinese are doing. But if they didn't get some of the pieces for their product in China, they would be priced out of the market. Nobody would buy their stuff. So it's pretty wild. And I also learned from one of our suppliers who buys a ton of aluminum, and they have corporate headquarters in Bergamo, Italy. And they opened up a second operation near Detroit. And I visited their Detroit facility, and we were talking about the prices of commodities, because we can buy stuff from them from their Italy factory cheaper than we can buy stuff from Americans. So I was asking him why that is. And he said it's about the aluminum supplier. They have the same aluminum supplier in Europe as they have in the States, but it costs more to have it shipped to the United States for some reason. And they've argued with them about this back and forth. So they can actually have it sent to their Italian facility and then ship it here, and it's still cheaper than buying it in the United States. So who knows what the hell that's all about?
Wow.
Yeah. Makes you want to pull your hair out.
And it's amazing that we're building anything in this country or making anything in this country.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not only that. I mean, you and I have talked about this now at length. It's a labor issue. We look at the unemployment rates in the 4.3, 4.5% range, which is basically full employment. Right. You and I know that's not true.
There was a remarkable increase in the amount of people that joined the labor market in February.
Mm-hmm.
Having said that, I've talked to people in Michigan, and you know this in your facility, that it is very difficult to find people in these. Say you're a manufacturer and you're paying someone $13 an hour. Mm-hmm. It's almost impossible to find people to do that job who aren't all drugged up,
right?
And are dependable.
Yes. Yeah, it's very hard to find and then keep them. And our biggest competitor is welfare.
Yeah. I have a family member who works at a place they make industrial foam, styrofoam, and also they're into roofing materials. Okay. And almost impossible to hire and keep people. The turnover is absolutely ridiculous at his facility because, and a lot of it you're seeing where people or manufacturers are deciding that they're just going to stop drug testing for marijuana. Mm-hmm. I mean, just forget about it.
Yeah.
I mean, which is amazing to me because, listen, there was a time, and it was college, where I would partake in that sort of thing. But I didn't realize how easy it is for people to just pick up a bag. I know a guy. Oh, I never ran into that around where I grew up, where everyone knew someone who sold weed.
Oh, where did you grow up again?
In Michigan. It's not like I grew up, with the Branch Davidians or anything like that. I mean, it was a typical manufacturing town in Michigan. And, I just didn't know a lot of people that were like, oh, it's really easy to score a dime bag.
Oh,
but apparently it's so widespread that manufacturers are having a difficult time hiring people that will pass a drug test.
Well, it's also, now that so many states have it legalized, it's very difficult because you could just say, hey, I was in Colorado, I was in California. It's illegal there.
Right.
So this is an ongoing thing. I've been meeting with a coach to help me to better communicate with people and inspire people and this kind of thing.
Oh?
Oh, yes. Well, this may come as a surprise to you, Fingers, but I've been known to be a little bit bitchy. And I try not to do that at work.
I saw you at one point make a grown woman cry right in front of me.
Yeah, it's true. Well,
it happens.
I think I took it off my Twitter profile, but it used to read, I don't mince onions or words. Mm-hmm. And I need to learn to pull that back a little bit. So I've been seeing this coach lady, and she has been in the HR business for 40-something years. So we were discussing this stuff with updating drug policies, because I was asking her, now she just is an HR consultant, but also does the personal coaching things as well, because being in HR for 40 years, you can imagine she's seen a lot of things.
I'm sure.
So I find it very fascinating. So I was talking to her about that. And she said the most common call she's getting now is, what the hell are we supposed to do about our drug testing policies? because Pennsylvania just got medical as well. And yeah. And so she says, well, that's totally up to you. And then the next question always is, well, what is everybody else doing? So it's herd mentality kind of thing. Well, you also don't want to be losing labor over this either, because it's such a hot commodity right now.
I've been around people at work that I know are potheads.
And are they high at work?
Very rarely have I seen anyone spark one up at work.
Uh-huh.
But I just don't understand why it's my employer's business if I go home and in the privacy of my own living room I spark one up if I show up to work the next day and I'm not intoxicated.
Right. I don't have a problem with that either. And I don't think employers should. But there's been such demonization of marijuana.
Well, it's a gateway drug to heroin, as we all know, Tracy.
No, it's a gateway drug to meeting drug dealers who will then offer you other drugs because they want to make money. That's the gateway aspect.
I'm telling you, you smoke a joint today, tomorrow you're injecting heroin in your veins.
Oh, okay.
Just so you know. Just so you know. Just like this coffee porter. Today it's a coffee porter. Tomorrow it's cocaine. We all know it. I don't know. The whole world's going to hell.
Yes, it is.
So, no, it's going to be interesting. In Michigan, it appears as though, and I have to double check my facts on this, but I believe I'm being accurate when I'm saying that the recreational marijuana issue will be on the ballot in November for Michigan. So Michigan may be the next state to go full-blown legalization.
And it'll take a year and a half, 2 years for them to implement it.
Probably. I mean, how long did it take Colorado once it passed?
I think it was over a year. And I know because I have family that's in the business out in Oregon. They were already in the medical business. So they applied immediately. January 1st of 2017, I think, is when it went into effect for recreational sales. And I believe it took them until October, maybe, to get their license approved. Mm-hmm.
Well,
they knew a guy. I'm not kidding you. They knew a guy.
I find it fascinating when these laws pass. They talk about, I don't know the hip term for this, but the people who travel to smoke pot. People that go to states.
Pot tourism?
Yeah, pot tourism. Mm-hmm. You look at a state like Nevada, which I believe it was maybe at the end of November of last year, somewhere around there, it became legal for recreational pot. That's great, but you can't smoke it anywhere. You can't smoke it in public. You can't smoke it at the hotels. You have to find either a friend or relative that you can bunk at their place and smoke it, or a friendly Airbnb that will let you smoke. But it's
you really think the hotels are enforcing it?
I who knows? Maybe you're right. Maybe they aren't. But I know that I've been in hotel rooms before with people that have smoked it, and you have to jump through hoops to do what you can to make sure your whole hotel room doesn't reek of marijuana smoke.
Sure.
I mean, I've seen contraptions. The toilet paper roll with a dryer sheet attached to it. It's like, really? Or people building a fort in their rooms to try to make sure that nobody can smell pot. But you're right. You go into, like, I'm sure today if we walked into the hotel casino that we love to go to with the karaoke, Ellis Island.
Oh, yes.
I'm sure if you walk back in the Super 8 hotel version, portion of the Ellis Island Casino Hotel, you're going to be smelling some weed.
Oh, without a doubt.
So, no, maybe you're right. Maybe some hotels are turning a blind eye to it. I know when I went to Denver a year and a half ago, the Holiday Inn I stayed at they were acting as though they were clamping down on anyone who would smoke in the rooms. So, who knows?
Yeah, when I went to Maine last year, they have it, but it's not fully in effect yet. So basically, what happens in those states when they don't just flip a switch, they still allow the usage of it, just not the sale, which is so silly. But in my hotel room, there was a little note that said no. It had the little no cigarette, and then it had no pot leaf. And I was like, oh, huh. This is fun, but there's a balcony. What are they going to do?
Right. The other day I was on YouTube looking at, whatever I was looking at, and I stumbled across, the $20 trick in Vegas.
Yes, you taught me that trick.
Yeah, you walk up to the front desk clerk, for those of you who don't know, and when they ask for your driver's license and credit card for incidentals, you slip a 20 in between the two of them and ask for this front desk clerk to look and see if they have any free upgrades available. So you may bump yourself up to a suite. And as Tracy can attest to, it worked for me a couple of years ago in Vegas when we were attending Freedom Fest. My room ended up being the party room. I paid for a regular room, $59 a night. I did the $20 trick, and boy, did I have a sweet-ass suite.
I, on the other hand, think it's tacky, so I won't do it.
Oh, what do you care? Why is it tacky? It's Vegas.
I know, that's true.
I mean, if I'm doing that in Omaha, I'm going to feel it's kind of tacky, but the whole town is tacky in Vegas. So I watched this video of this guy who was all nervous about trying it at the Cosmopolitan.
Well, you better be pushing a 50 across the counter.
$20, and he didn't even mention the $20 trick. Oh, do you have any free upgrades? When he handed the front desk clerk his driver's license and credit card, he just had the $20 bill there, and the front desk clerk, supposedly he was typing and he had everything out there, the $20 bill, and said, oh, so, okay, I have you down for 3 nights in the such and such suite, which he had a basic room. So when the person said such and such suite, he was like, oh, yes, you do. And he went upstairs, and this place was absolutely incredible. And it had a balcony overlooking the Bellagio fountains and everything.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay, I know what's going on those balconies. I mean, come on. How are they going to, especially if you don't go full-blown joint, if you go out there with a one-hitter or a vape pen, where you get out there, you hit it, and then go back into the room, how are they going to tell who's doing what?
They aren't. And there's so much worse shit going on in Vegas.
Yeah. So, see, you only had to worry about high-priced call girls going up to the room back in the day. Now they got to worry about pot. It's awful, Trace. The world's going to hell. Terrible. By the way, the Cosmopolitan suites look pretty freaking fantastic.
Oh, I'm sure.
I know that place is your jam.
It is.
Have you ever stayed there?
Nope. It's my jam, but I'm cheap.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, Planet Hollywood was like $59 a night when I stayed there.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the Cosmopolitan is triple that price.
Probably.
And then some. And you just walk right across the street, go to the little bar there in the Chandelier Bar.
Elton John's living room.
Have a couple of $15 mimosas. That's what the kids drink, I guess, over at the Cosmopolitan is the mimosa. That's what I'm told. And then they go back to their regular hotel.
And then go get the $40 pizza.
Did I tell you when I was at CPAC? We haven't talked since CPAC, have we?
Mm-mm.
We did a Saturday at CPAC where we just went bar hopping. And if I'm rambling a little bit, I apologize. This isn't my first coffee porter. So we went bar hopping And the first place I can't remember the name, and it really doesn't matter anyway. We grabbed a burger, and they had $3 mimosas. Tracy Connors.
Wow.
Never had a mimosa in my life.
No.
I'll never have another one in my life.
Good call.
I don't know how people drink them. Worst tasting. It was like a sweet tart.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about your friends, but I'm noticing women more and more, they're drinking champagne. Like ordering house champagne at the bar.
No.
When we went bar hopping, these women, 3 or 4 of them that were that were involved in the bar hopping, the pub crawl, they were all ordering glasses of champagne.
Ugh.
I was like, what is this?
No. My friends do no such thing. It's whiskey and wine and tequila.
Oh, good for them. I didn't even know that bars, just a regular bar, would stock, like, oh, we've got well champagne. Really?
Oh, gross.
Oh, it's the worst tasting crap.
Yeah, I don't like it at all.
I had a buddy that the year, it was probably 1999 New Year's Eve. His dad worked part-time at a liquor store, and he shipped to us a bottle of Dom Perignon.
Ooh.
I don't know how, ridiculous how someone would spend $300, $400, whatever it is, for a bottle of that garbage. It smells like rotten eggs. I mean, unless maybe that was just a bad bottle. Maybe he got the special because someone left that bottle in like the trunk of their car or something. But I took one taste of that and thought, oh my God, how does anyone drink this garbage and spend that much money to drink it?
It's all about showing off to other people.
Yeah, you're a country club kind of gal. Have you ever had Dom Perignon before?
No, I've had Moet and Chandon.
That sounds fancy.
Yeah, that's what they drink on AbFab a lot.
Is it good?
No, I don't like champagne.
But if somebody pours it in a glass for you for free, you're going to drink it.
No.
No, you would turn it down.
Yeah. At my brother's wedding, they gave us all a glass of champagne, and I just gave it to the person sitting next to me.
I mean, I even tried to do, like, shots of it. Like, okay, I'm going to pretend this is some sort of really bad... Well, okay, I'll pretend it's Fireball. I'll do a shot of really awful Fireball. This tastes like a sweet tart in liquid form.
Yeah, it's too carbonated for me, and I like carbonation. No, it's quite gross. But speaking of people that like to drink, the Sam Nunberg is how we say his name? His little meltdown on television this week, I know it entertained me and you.
I missed this. What are you talking about?
No, I had you watch it the other night. Or did you not follow up when I was like, you should watch this stuff. It's hilarious.
I may have missed it.
He worked for the Trump campaign.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
He decided just to start drunk dialing networks.
And by the end of the night, they were putting him on air. He was in the studio with Erin Burnett, and she said, "You smell like alcohol." It took that long for somebody to catch on that he was day drinking and decided to call in. I mean, I almost expected him at one point to just be like, "Baba Booey," and hang up the phone.
I did see a couple of people in the media on the right actually tweeting out that they were concerned, which surprised me because there were some never Trumpers that were saying this. Like, you guys are all making fun of him, but I'm kind of concerned. This doesn't seem like something he would normally do. Like, really? Oh, you're saying he wouldn't normally just start drunk dialing networks?
It was amazing. I like the temerity of the whole thing. Like, they want me to go through all my emails? That'll take me 80 hours. I love that. And he kept sticking to the 80-hour number. Like, I don't know how one decides that. It's pretty easy to do a search in your emails because they wanted him to turn over emails between him and Steve Bannon, Roger Stone, Hope Hicks, Corey Lewandowski. And when they get to the Corey Lewandowski thing, he's just like, I hate that guy. I would never send him an email.
Everything that he said about emails, I was envisioning Hillary on her 8th Moscow Mule saying the exact same thing.
Now that's a delicious drink.
Yeah, but bars don't want to serve those anymore.
Really?
Because too many dirtbags order them and then walk out with the copper mug in their purse or their back pockets or their fanny packs, whatever. But ginger beer, I don't. Ugh. Ooh.
No, it's quite delicious.
Have you ever walked out of a bar with a copper mug in your purse?
No.
Good for you. Good for you. No, but drunk dialing networks. I say we just start doing that.
I know. I thought if I called in and just said I was Hope Hicks, they'd probably put me on the air.
Oh, sure.
There's no vetting involved. And with Skype, I think both you and I have our own Skype phone numbers.
Yes.
You can have it appear as whatever you want to the person receiving the call.
Right.
So I will just punch in, she's from New York. She would have a 212 number. I don't know what her voice sounds like, but I don't think they do either.
Like they'd care.
No.
If you were calling up CNN or MSNBC saying you're Hope Hicks and you want to trash the president.
Put her right through.
Yeah. He grabbed my ass. That's my Hope Hicks impersonation, by the way.
You should try to get through.
He grabbed my ass.
Yeah, there you go. And is it any big surprise that I left the administration like 2 weeks after my boyfriend got fired for beating his ex-wives? Well, I love that. And none of the coverage that I heard about, Hope Hicks is leaving, that was never brought up. She had been having, I don't know if he was still married at the time, but she was dating, or however you want to phrase it, that guy Rob Porter that got fired.
Mm-hmm.
And then she makes an exit. But no, I'm sure they have nothing to do with each other.
Is that a good move?
What?
You're a woman.
Mm-hmm.
You're having an affair with a married man in the administration.
Not a good move.
But let's take it a step further. He gets fired.
Yes.
You follow him out the door.
Potentially. This is just my speculation.
Oh, it has to be that.
Well, nobody else thought so. Even though it was widely reported that the two of them were together.
Well, no, let's face it, that nobody wants to dig into that because that doesn't fit the narrative. The narrative is that there's chaos in the White House, and it's all
that would be
of
chaos.
Yeah, but it's not Trump.
Oh, okay. She's not leaving
chaos.
over Trump.
No, she's leaving because she was sleeping with someone that got fired.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're probably going to go team up and do something together and make it fun.
They've apparently already been teaming up.
It's true.
Everybody has to have a hobby. No, you're right. They're probably going to go make money. But of course, where's he going to make any money? If look, I'm not a fan of people just willy-nilly attacking folks just because they work for the Trump administration. But I think we can all say that we're against wife beating. Mm-hmm. I would think. I would hope.
Yes.
So,
alleged wife beating. Let's be careful.
Well, yeah, but if it's true that he's slapping women around, how long can you disappear before you can come back and have some sort of career doing something else? Especially if you're in Republican politics and all the consultant class can't stand Trump. Yeah. And you go to work for the devil. And then you get fired because it's rumored and there have been accusations that you're slapping women around. What are you going to do? You going to go back to the Republican consultant class?
No.
So how long what's he where does he end up?
Writing a book.
Yeah. She can write the foreword.
There you go. She'll probably go back to working for Ivanka or Ivanka's lines or whatever. I think that's where she came from in the first place.
She's cute for politics.
Yeah. Well, she wasn't in politics.
Yeah, but once
she was like the press agent for Ivanka and Jared or something.
Yeah, but once you make that leap, you're in politics.
That's true.
So it's a little too cute for politics, maybe.
Well, they have plenty of, places to stash her. She could go to the RNC. She could go to whatever super PACs or 401 or what is it? I can't remember. C4, C3 organization, something like that.
Well, what's Scam Pack? Did we ever determine what Scam Pack was going to be?
Well, it's going to be a super PAC because those are the most hated of all PACs.
No, I'm looking at pictures of her right now. She's better looking than Huma.
Oh, yeah.
Huma?
Oh, she's cute. And she's young, too. I think she's only like 27 or 28.
Oh, and how old's Porter?
Yeah, I don't know.
Always go younger, Tracy. Always go younger.
Copy that.
So, I'm looking right now. He's 41.
Oh, there you go. But he looks younger than Brian Stelter, who's 32.
Father time's an asshole.
Yeah.
So's genetics in that case, though.
It's so unfortunate. Or maybe it's not. Maybe he rightly deserves to look that old.
He's got an 8 head.
Oh, my God. Well, I think that's what anxiety will do to you, right? It ages you prematurely. And he is the most anxious person on television.
The other thing, too, is I've noticed with the people who... It's one thing when you're going bald and you just shave it all off. But I've seen pictures where he tries to do the horseshoe pattern baldness thing going on.
George Costanza look.
Yeah. Those kind of people. Those people. I have, people have called me Fingers Malloy the Science Boy.
Oh,
because of the Fingers Malloy Institute of Science. It's my belief that people who really stress out about hair loss lose it even faster than someone who doesn't care. If you're carefree about it, you know what? Looks like I'm losing my hair. I guess I'll just shave my head. Whatever. What can I do?
Yeah, just embrace it.
Yeah. Versus these guys that the horseshoe. It's terrible. With the comb over.
We have a comb over for president now, Trump.
Yeah, well, I don't know where I was going with that, but I just, the guy doesn't look 33. 33? 32?
32.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's bad. It's bad.
And he's on network television.
Yep.
Or cable television.
Oh, cable. Yeah, he's on CNN. Whatever we classify that as these days. He was having a meltdown this morning about, I don't know if you saw excerpts from the Trump rally that was held in beautiful Moon Township, Pennsylvania, which is right outside of Pittsburgh.
No, I did not.
Oh, during the rally, Trump called Chuck Todd a son of a bitch.
See, that's uncalled for.
Oh, please.
Oh, no. Look, Chuck Todd is a weasel.
Yes.
Is he a son of a bitch?
Well, we called him a sleepy eye. He calls him sleepy eyes.
Okay.
And he said he's a sleeping son of a bitch.
Oh.
So this morning I watched Meet the Press because I'm a masochist. And Steve Mnuchin was on there. Our wonderful, Treasury Secretary?
Okay.
And so Chuck Todd at the end of it went after him about the president's language and how do we explain that to our children?
Really?
Yes.
I think that we've blown past the whole how do we explain it to our children when the president of the United States was getting a blowjob from an intern underneath his desk at the Oval Office.
Daddy, what's a blowjob?
But okay. How do we explain that to our children?
Yeah, and he kept coming back to it. What am I supposed to tell my children? Oh, God, get off of it.
Good Lord, I would say to your child, whatever you do, don't listen to any private tapes of LBJ.
Oh, man. And he also called, I want to find the full quote, but this is, of course, blown out of proportion. He's been calling her this for quite some time. Our favorite, hopeful for 2020, Maxine Waters.
Yes.
He called her a low IQ individual.
How dare he?
No, this is, of course, racist.
Of course.
Yes. So she needs to take an IQ test.
Everyone, it doesn't matter what race, can call Donald Trump an idiot, but if you call Maxine Waters a dummy, you're a racist.
Yes, and he's never called anybody else a mean name or poked fun at their intelligence. He just called Chuck Todd a sleepy-eyed son of a bitch. But low IQ Maxine, holy shit, she's on Joy Reid this morning, to commiserate over the racism of the president.
There's another one with a high IQ.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, I love it. Low IQ. One of the best Twitter parodies is the fake Maxine Waters account. Oh my God, it's great. And I think they've ended up on Snopes like 3 or 4 times, maybe even more. It's wonderful. I retweet it from time to time, and it always tweets out impeach, INPEACH.
Well, it's just unfortunate that Hank Johnson hasn't taken the point on more of this stuff.
I know. I don't know where he is. Off running around with Farrakhan, which has now become the right's biggest deal.
Well,
all these Democrats hanging out with Farrakhan.
Well, it has here in Indiana because Andre Carson, buddied up with Farrakhan. And I can understand why some people are saying, oh, come on, let's let this go. But look, the left, every 4 years when someone runs for president, they march on down to the South trying to find out where David Duke lives to figure out. Let's hope that David Duke supports this Republican. And now I got to hear crying from the left that this is happening because of Louis Farrakhan. Stop it. You guys do this every 4 years like clockwork. And they know David Duke is getting old and he'll probably die soon. So they found a new David Duke in Richard Spencer. Mm-hmm. So now Richard Spencer will take over as the new David Duke. And every 4 years, does Richard Spencer support the Republican nominee? Oh, well, we got to go and have everyone denounce Richard Spencer. So, sorry.
But you're never going to make them live up to this, though. They're not going to walk away from him.
Well, of course not, but you at least got to point out the hypocrisy in the whole thing.
But it doesn't get you anywhere. I mean, even though Jake Tapper's taking it up on CNN, but that's it. It's as far as you're going to get with this.
I'm surprised Tapper even took it. He's a weasel.
Tapper?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's also Jewish, and Farrakhan hates him for being Jewish.
Yeah.
And he's so vilely anti-Semitic, unapologetically. They find anti-Semitism in anything that's said on the right. If you say globalist now, apparently that's code. But there's Farrakhan outwardly saying, Jew this and Jew that. But nope, not a big deal.
There was that national convention in D.C. of the alt-right. I can't remember, and Spencer was the featured speaker, the keynote. And what they made a big deal. I think 400 people may have shown up for that, if that.
And 200 of them are press.
Yeah, and 2 of them are press. Farrakhan would be embarrassed to talk to a crowd that small.
Oh, yeah. No, he's got a bigger following than somebody like Spencer or David Duke ever had.
And it's crickets.
Mm-hmm.
From the mainstream media. Nothing.
No.
I mean, if Farrakhan were such a lovely figure who is not an anti-Semite, why would they hide that picture of Barack Obama all smiles next to Louis Farrakhan?
Oh, right. No, they know. But it's not going to stop them. And they're not going to apologize.
I need another coffee porter. Madness. Well, what else have you been following? Because I do my best not even to look at the news anymore. For years I would criticize my friends for not paying attention to what's going on. It's like, don't you understand this affects your future? And then one day I thought to myself, maybe they aren't so dumb.
Maybe not. It depends on if you like getting your blood pressure raised a couple times a day.
Right.
Or you can just look at it with complete indifference and laugh like I do most of the time now. And speaking of laughing, Elizabeth Warren was on Meet the Press this morning.
Oh, is everything okay behind you?
Oh, yeah. I told you that I live in the 12th most dangerous city in the world. Or, in the country.
You're not by a window, are you?
Yeah, I'm right next to the window.
Oh, boy. Okay.
It's okay. I'll be all right.
Elizabeth Warren.
Yes, Elizabeth Warren appeared on Meet the Press today, and of course we have to ask, are you running, and all this kind of garbage. But to Chuck Todd's son of a bitch credit, he did push her about her alleged Native American heritage.
Oh, really?
Yes. Well, it was quite interesting because they cut it short, and they're like, to see the whole interview, go to meetthepress.com or whatever the hell it is. So I hopped over there because it's like, it seems like this has been edited a little bit, and of course it was. Mm-hmm. So he asks her about it and reads some statement from some tribal group or something like that that's asking her to take a DNA test. And she won't, of course. Would you agree to do that? I don't need to. I know my story. And she spins this new tale, because the tale that I always remember, and I looked up subsequently to make sure that I remembered it correctly, is she had some Aunt B who had high cheekbones, and people would always comment, yes, like those are the Cherokee cheekbones or some such garbage. Uh-huh. But this time it's about her parents falling in love and how her father's family didn't want him marrying her mother because she was part Native American. Yeah, here's this. So I'm not sure. This was published in the Berkshire Eagle, and it says, this is an opinion piece, I guess, Warren must resolve the debate on her heritage. And this is quoting from the article. Were she to test positive for Native American DNA, it would permanently resolve the issue while possibly shutting down President Trump. Should the test come up negative, it will be an opportunity for the senator to perform an act rarely seen among politicians, an admission of her error and a full-throated apology to Native American tribes and anyone else offended by her spurious claim.
Her error?
Yes.
Okay, that's an interesting choice of words, but go ahead.
So Chuck reads this to her and then asks her about it, and this is when she goes off on her, well, I know my story, and spins this whole tale about her parents and blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of how it ended on the television segment of it. But if you go to the site, and I actually tweeted this out if anybody wants to watch it, he pushes her again about the DNA test. Will you take one? No, because I know my story, and I've never benefited from this heritage, she claims. Meanwhile, we all know that she got the job at Harvard because she checked that box.
This is what we need to do. And by we, I mean Scam Pack. We need to set up a GoFundMe to send Elizabeth Warren a 23andMe.
We can just flood our office with them.
Yeah, just because they aren't cheap. I would say, listen, everyone who is listening to the sound of my voice, let's all start sending Elizabeth Warren 23andMe kits. But they're $79. I mean, it's not like sending her a postage stamp, So I think we need to maybe we'll have some sort of 23andMe telethon.
We could do that.
Where Elizabeth Warren, and all the proceeds will go to 23andMe tests, where we can finally find out once and for all the ancestry of one Elizabeth Warren.
Well, she won't do it.
Well, she knows it's her truth.
Yes, it's her story.
And she knows it. So, and she's never benefited from it.
Never.
Wow.
Never. Didn't she sell that cookbook?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh, you don't remember this?
Native American cookbook?
Yes.
Does she call corn maize?
Yeah, it was called Pow Wow Chow Cherokee Recipes. So she did benefit from it. Just there. What a disgusting liar. Not that they all aren't. But this is just so pathetic. Like, she will not let this go. But she says she's not running in 2020.
Now I'm going to have a bunch of, for the next 2 weeks, Google ads for corn pop up.
Well, you could throw them in your Instapot.
It's true.
It's not particularly healthy, but
you
but
can
you did
cook
learn...
corn in 3 minutes in the Instant Pot.
Wow. I'm still not sold.
Well, you're a healthy eater.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been eating healthy for years. I have to find some sort of trick. Some sort of gadget. Something that will get me to eat healthy. So I bought today I went to the grocery store, I bought brown rice and black beans. And I'm going to make some sort of black bean and rice meal. Throw some maize in there.
There you go.
I got it from the Elizabeth Warren cookbook, that recipe.
Pow wow chow.
So, I don't know. What the hell's going on? Oh, good Lord.
So, Fingers, you did learn other things this week. I got you to watch 2 documentaries.
I didn't watch those either.
Yes, you did.
I didn't watch the follow-up
okay.
of the Waco document, but I watched the initial documentary that you sent me about the whole Waco fiasco. What was the name of that? Do you remember off the top of your head?
Waco Under Siege.
I'm telling you, there was so much that went on during that whole time period that I've forgotten about because it's been 25 years? 25
years. The siege started on February 28th, 1993.
Anyone, if you have an opportunity to get on YouTube, soon, you got to check out this documentary because there's so much of it that I had forgotten about. I don't remember them having a camera in there because at the time they were not letting this footage out of the Davidians videotaping themselves. Just talking about their ordeal because they wouldn't let that information, that footage out because they seemed very normal, Tracy.
Yes.
They didn't seem crazy.
And I think Under Siege is the second one. The first one is called Rules of Engagement. And it was nominated for an Academy Award. And it won an Emmy. So it's not some like crackpot BS that went unnoticed in the mainstream.
Everything that went down with that raid between the ATF marching in, when there were reports that David Koresh was jogging and could have been easily apprehended without all the drama and then eventual violence that went down at the compound there weeks before the raid. But much of it, as we know, Tracy, a lot of this has to do with scoring a big PR win. The government either having to justify their budget or just trying to get good press that they do things that aren't necessary and ended up leading to people dying.
Yeah, I think it's 76 people died, 25 children.
You have to watch this. It'll just get your blood boiling. And then after that, the natural progression is I had to go back and watch stuff about Ruby Ridge.
Well, Ruby Ridge is the inciting incident that it sets up Waco.
Yeah.
Because the ATF looked so bad after Ruby Ridge, they wanted a PR coup. And if you watch, Paramount Network just did a 6-part miniseries about Waco that was quite good. And it actually involved a lot of the stuff that's covered in the documentary. They based it off of a book written by 2 of the survivors and another book written by the FBI negotiator. So it's pretty fair, I thought.
And the FBI negotiator that wrote that book seemed to be one of the saner people in the FBI.
Oh, yes. And he was at Ruby Ridge as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Well, in the Paramount show, they show him he goes there first. They kind of set it up where here we are with the Branch Davidians, and then we're going to jump back in time to show you the Ruby Ridge fiasco. And he's there as well. And I don't know if that's reality or not. I did read Jim Hoft at the Gateway Pundit did an interview with both the negotiator and one of the survivors. And it's quite extensive and long, and that wasn't, he asked them both about the series, and they gave their thoughts, but he didn't, the FBI agent didn't come out and say, oh, I wasn't at Ruby Ridge, which you think he would if he wasn't.
Right.
But that was definitely what set this whole thing up. And then it's just so disgusting. If you watch it and see the congressional hearings, which you can, C-SPAN still has them all up, you can watch it. I think it was something like 7 or 9 days of testimony. It just makes you sick to your stomach.
Chuck Schumer is such a smug son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And Joe Biden doesn't come across any better.
No. And neither John Conyers is in there. I mean, the Democrats were totally lock stock with the Clinton administration. This was done by the book. The contention is that when they first show up to serve this warrant, which they could have served to David Koresh while he's out jogging, which he did every day, or in town where he went frequently, it wasn't like they didn't interact with the outside world at all, and they couldn't have picked him up on his own. They go there to serve the warrant, and they say that the Branch Davidians started firing on them, so they opened fire. And the way that the Paramount show did it was that Koresh walked outside with his hands up, which they don't show that in the documentary, although they do have footage of the initial serving of the warrant. Mm-hmm. He walks up with his hands up, and their dogs start barking, the Davidians' dogs, and one of the ATF guys shoots the dogs, and that's when the shooting starts.
What is it about ATF agents and dogs?
Oh, cops kill a lot of dogs too.
Yeah.
But it's hard to say. And then, of course, the whole thing burns to the ground. So you can never get at what was going on with the doors and, which way the bullets were going, because that was one of the points of contention at the congressional hearings, that the Davidians were shooting through their front door. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You can't aim at anybody through a door.
Right. I'll always fault the government, especially, at the end there, because I don't know how any government agent, knowing that there were children in that building, could do what they did and rush that building with those tanks. Oh. And then to shoot the gas in there, too. Yeah. Knowing there are children in that building. And during the documentary, they state that the agents thought, well, if these women were good mothers, their instinct would be to get out of that building with the kids. So it's a good move to shoot this gas into the buildings. Yes, but
Crazy. They also, I think they say it in the doc, but they definitely said it in the series. They made note that they don't make gas masks small enough to fit children. So they did that knowing that it was going to cause immense amount of pain to the kids.
Everyone should have been fired. Some of them should have been prosecuted.
Absolutely.
Nothing.
Absolutely. Nope. But we should trust the government. Without a doubt. They care about us.
You're getting me all fired up, Tracy.
Sorry, it's a good thing to remember that that's what they're capable of.
Nope, they just have good intentions, Tracy, and your best interests at heart.
But people like that scare the shit out of them, right? And I believe it's in the Paramount movie, the Paramount Network show again, that they mention their fear. I think they have one of the guys from the FBI say it, that they're outgunned, like the government security forces outgunned something like 5,000 to 1 by the American public. And if they had let the Davidians go, then it proves that they don't have any power.
Well, even that day, according to that documentary, the ATF agents ran out of ammunition. And the Davidians still had a stockpile.
Sure. Are you talking about the first day? Because the FBI comes in and takes over.
Yeah, the first day, the initial raid.
Yeah.
And they agreed to a ceasefire. Now, if the Davidians were as evil as the government made them out to be, they would have kept shooting and tried to kill as many agents as they possibly could.
Absolutely. Because both sides lost people that day. You'd think if they were that vengeful and that messed up, they would have just taken everybody out, because they could have. And the only reason it stops is because one of the Davidians called 911 and got the local sheriff who's in that documentary, who was quite fond of them and thought they were decent people, got the sheriff on the phone, was like, tell them to stop firing on us. But the ATF that was in the field didn't have any communication with anybody outside of the immediate vicinity.
And how obscene is that? That's another example of federal arrogance.
They didn't even tell the local sheriff what they were doing.
Because they were probably worried that the sheriff was going to tip them off.
Or the sheriff would stop them and just say, I'll go serve this warrant. They wanted their big publicity coup.
Right.
They thought they were going to come out of there with all these illegal weapons because the Davidians made money selling guns at gun shows. And they were convinced that they had illegally modified them.
And it's just obscene, too, that the whole Ruby Ridge thing started because Randy Weaver modified a shotgun in a way that was only, what was it, a quarter of an inch?
I think so, yeah.
Short on the sawn-off shotgun, and that broke federal law and caused the snowball effect that turned into, two dead people that lived there, the Randy Weaver's wife and his son, and at least one agent, if I remember right.
I don't know if any agents were killed, but you might be right. I know the son and the wife.
I thought the son got killed the first day, and then an agent got killed. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the agent just was wounded. But I thought an agent died there too, and that's what got the feds even more fired up. Was that they killed an agent? So now they changed the whole rules of engagement, which Washington signed off on, stating that if anyone is seen with a firearm, shoot first and ask questions later. They just have your best interests at heart, Tracy.
Of course.
They're just trying to help people. And if you could save one child's life, even if
Right.
that means gassing them.
And we should definitely give up all of our guns.
Yeah.
Just give them over to them.
Well, good Lord, we've been at this for an hour.
I know.
Want to wrap
Time
it up?
to cut it out. Yeah.
Remember, you can find the Enough Already podcast on Stitcher, SoundCloud, TuneIn, and iTunes. Leave us a review on iTunes, 5 stars. Do it for the children. Tracy Connors.
Please.
Final thoughts?
Now I gotta go watch the second doc.
I'm going to have another beer, because if I
Okay.
go watch another one of these docs, it'll piss me off even more. So, all right, thanks for listening. We'll be back soon with another Enough Already.
Enough Already Radio is on Facebook. Check out the fan page, facebook.com/Enough Already Podcast.